Hello, my little friends, and welcome to SonTreasure Island. My name is Paradise Pete, and I'm the one who named the island. And it's because I was the first one here. Let me tell you a bit about how I arrived on the island, and then I'll tell you a bit about how I named it. You see, I was a seafaring man from Ireland, and as I was on the ship, one day a great storm rolled up and big waves came. We looked like a little wood ship on the sea, and I was trying to secure all of the cargo on the deck when one day here comes a big wave washing over the bow of the ship and washed me into the ocean. I started swimming for my life. I didn't know how I was going to make it. I was calling out to God, and next thing I know, I was on the shore of this island. And as I looked around and explored the island, I found no one here. But then I found a great treasure in a cave. Someone had been here before me, and he left this Bible. And this is where I found my treasure. You see, it tells me all about the love of God. And now it's my joy to be able to share with you in the next days stories about the love of God. So I invite you to tell your friends to come day by day as we explore the treasures of SonTreasure Island and what is in this wonderful book. Thank you for coming, and I hope you enjoy the story that's coming up. Hello, my little friends, and welcome back to SonTreasure Island. Today our story is about the fact that God's love is kind. And I have a wonderful story to tell you about. You see, it's about Jesus and his friends being together in Capernaum. And one day, Jairus, a daddy, comes to Jesus and he says, "Oh, Jesus, I've heard so many good things about you. And my little girl, she's sick. She's really sick. She's never been this sick before. Jesus, she's so sick. Could you come to my house and heal my little girl?" And Jesus said, "I will come to your house." And so Jesus started down the road, and there was so much excitement. You know, the disciples were all around Jesus, and they were all talking to him. And then there were people from the town, and they saw this little parade with Jesus right in the middle. And people started crowding around, and they were bumping into Jesus, and they were bumping into the disciples. And Jesus was talking, and then there's a part in the story right here in God's Word where it says that there was a woman who was very sick. She had been sick for 12 years. Boys and girls, have you ever had a cold that lasted for 12 years? But this woman, she was bleeding for 12 years, and she was very tired and worn out, and she had paid all the money she had to pay for doctors who none of them could heal her of her sickness. It was a very sad story in her life. And she was an outcast among her people, and she was tired and weary, but she heard about Jesus. And so she said, "Well, if I could just see Jesus, he could bring healing to me, and he could make me well." And so she comes up and she sees him coming. And she thinks, "Oh, how can I get to him with all of those people crowding around him?" And she thinks, "Oh, if I could just dive into that crowd of people and just touch the hem of his garment, well, then I know I could be healed." And as soon as she did, well, she was healed instantly. That's what God's Word tells us. She was healed instantly. And then Jesus said, "Who touched me?" And Peter said, "Well, Lord, there are people bumping into you all over. People are bumping into you all over. Everybody's touching you." And Jesus said, "No, I felt power go out from me." And so Jesus then noticed, here was the woman, and she said, "I'm the one who touched you." And Jesus looked in her eyes, and at that instant, there was a deeper healing in the woman. She was not only healed physically, she was healed emotionally and spiritually as well. She came to know Jesus as a friend. And then Jesus began to walk to Jairus' house. And the excitement was even greater because they saw what had happened for this woman. And so they're walking down the road toward Jairus' house. And when they got closer, they could hear a sound. Oh, there was a sound of wailing and sadness and crying and terrible wailing and woes and shrieks. You see, Jairus' daughter she had died, is what had happened. But that didn't bother Jesus because he walked right into the house and he said, she's only sleeping. And all the people started to laughter and laughing at Jesus, thinking, what kind of a statement is that? This girl is plainly dead. And Jesus then, he said, all you people, you need to get out of this room. Get out of the house. Except for the mom and the dad and my disciples, they're the only ones that are going to stay with me because I have something to do. And so Jesus went in and he said, little girl, get up, wake up. And the little girl, you know what happened? She opened her eyes and she woke up. Oh, God's love is kind. God's love knew about the hurt that there was in the people's hearts. And Jesus showed that God's love is kind. Boys and girls, God's love is kind. Do you know he loves you and he wants to be kind to you and show you great things for your life? Boys and girls, you have this opportunity because Jesus came into the world for you, because he wants to be kind to you and show you a better way. So remember, God's love is kind, and if you ask Jesus into your heart, he will come into your heart and live with you and be kind and show you how to be kind to others. So remember, boys and girls, our lesson for today is God's love is kind.